2 months ago, the president launched a multi-agency effort to support and expand access to quality truck driving jobs now and in the years ahead. Secretary Buttigieg will also sign the charter document for the Women of Trucking Advisory Board, which will provide recommendations to address challenges facing women in trucking, such as barriers to entry, on-the-job safety risks, workplace harassment, mentorship, and more.
The White House last week talking up progress in repairing America's ailing trucking industry with new programs to recruit drivers, expand apprenticeships, and cut red tape for commercial licenses. Retirements have hit the trucking industry hard, by the way, leaving it short nearly 80,000 drivers. The supply chain crisis has shown us that truckers, including women drivers, help form the backbone of our economy. Let's bring in Ellen Voie. She's the president and CEO of the Trucking Women in Trucking Association. So, Ellen, nice to have you back. Give us an update from your perspective. How is trucking recruitment getting better?
Well, more women are coming into the industry, but we were thrilled that in the president's Bi-Partisan Infrastructure Bill that there were actually 2 diversity initiatives included. And as the press secretary mentioned, one is called the Women in the Workforce Act, and that's to create a Women in Trucking Advisory Committee at the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. This was introduced by Senator Moran in Kansas, and so I asked my Senator Tammy Baldwin in Wisconsin to co-sign, which she did. And Moran is Republican and Baldwin is a Democrat, so it was very bipartisan. And then my Congressman Mike Gallagher introduced it in the House as well, and it was signed into law, and we should be hearing in the coming weeks who will actually be serving on that committee.
Well, that's great when you have bipartisan cooperation. So, of course, you advocate for female truckers. You encourage more women to get behind the wheel. How's your recruitment going with your company?
Actually, very well. More and more women are coming into the trucking industry. During the pandemic, a lot of women who worked in service areas lost their jobs. So if they were in hospitality or working at restaurants or conferences or hotels, a lot of them lost their jobs. And they saw that the trucking industry had jobs and they're not going away. And so our big push at Women in Trucking is to tell women that they can do this job and they can do it well and they can make the same amount of money as men.
Well, that's good, because that's not always the case, unfortunately. Do you have any insight on the supply chain easing up? I mean, how many more truckers, male and female, would need to be hired nationwide to ease the supply chain slowdown?
Well, I wouldn't say that they need to be hired. They need to be retained. We have a lot of drivers who leave because they're tired of the lifestyle or they're tired of being treated by either shippers or receivers or law enforcement or customers. They aren't getting the kind of respect that they really do deserve as skilled workers. And so we lose a lot of drivers, especially at first when they realize what the lifestyle is like. However, 83% of women who come into the industry do so at the urging of a family member or friend. So typically women know what the lifestyle is like and have less turnover. So women make great drivers, have less turnover, and actually have been found to be safer drivers as well.
So I'm curious, in closing here, you mentioned that some people are, kind of the retirement levels are up because they're kind of sick of the conditions. How is that changing, though? I know you said that women kind of know what they're getting into on the front end. How do you change that for those, I guess, more men who are just saying, I'm done with this? How can you repair the working conditions?
Well, the companies really are. Carriers are trying to have better work-life balance. They're trying to get drivers home more by having more local and regional loads and putting the long-distance loads on rail. Put them on rail and put them from California to New York on a train. And so they're trying to get drivers home a lot more. They're trying to have better equipment, and also they've been raising driver pay a lot. In the last year, some companies have increased pay 3 times. So a lot of things are changing to make it a more desirable career, and so we're all for that. Okay,
yeah, definitely. Hey, Ellen, how do you pronounce your last name?
It's actually Voie.
Voie, we got it right. Okay, founding of the, what is it, name of your company? President and CEO, Women in Trucking. There we go. Ellen Voie, thank you very much.